Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Unmuted podcast where we turn up the volume on voices that matter. And today we're tuning into a topic every IB student knows too well: juggling academics, CAS, extracurriculars, and somehow still trying to keep your sanity. Basically, how you survive the IBDP without losing your mind.
And on those notes, we've somehow got someone who's doing it all and making it look way too easy, Ruhika Bhende.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. She's a 12th grader in the IB, a passionate runner, chaired and attended over 20 months, a taekwondo athlete as well, who's competed at the ISF and ISSO level, and also the head girl of our school. She's all about balance between discipline and drive, work and passion, and we can't wait to dive into the story you have to tell us, because of course you're a year ahead of us in the IB, and I'm sure there's stuff that we can learn from you as well, and of course everyone out there. So welcome to Unmuted. Why don't we begin?
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, guys. So instead of getting into the serious stuff, let's start with something a little bit light. If you had to describe the IB in one word and one word only, what would it be?
I would say new.
Okay. So yeah, I think I completely agree. And that you're saying new after being in it already for a year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's concerning.
Seriously.
It's like a new jump scare every time. Every day you find out something like completely new. I mean, like in a good way. It's not necessarily always scary. I think that's what keeps like IB fresh.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Yeah,
Good way.
because honestly, there's so many opportunities with IB, and you'll be given a new one every single day. So yeah, news.
Yeah, so the new thing we have, usually just extracurriculars are kept outside school and we're supposed to do them by ourselves. But
Yeah.
the new thing we have is CAS. And what's your favorite CAS experience?
Oh.
Not in the sense that what gave you the most CAS points or something like that. Something that actually meant something and it was not just to check a tick off.
Oh, that's a good question actually. I think for sure there are like a few memorable ones, but one of my favorites I would say was organizing the Christmas carnival.
Oh.
I mean, that's a pro you kind of get being on the student council. You kind of get to work with the school community and like organize these kind of events. And it was kind of super fun because we got to be there before the event actually started, help decorate. And it's one of the most memorable experiences for me because I got to do it with my friends because a lot of them are on the student council as well. And then Andaman, our cast trip, which was super fun. We got to build our own rafts and go rafting. We drowned, it didn't work, but it was still pretty fun. I surely won't forget that.
I think the one thing we're most excited about this
It's
year
a
is
school
the
trip. Yeah, for sure.
The big cast trip that everyone talks about. I mean, it's gonna be amazing. We're going to Spain this year.
Oh my god.
After a lot of
Let's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
So, okay, after everything that you've been through for the past year, when was that one moment where you were like, this is too much, I can't do this, and there's too much on my plate, I need to stop?
Okay, I think I'm kind of reaching that point right now, I would say, because like I was saying earlier, now it's like application season,
Right.
and all of us are super busy because obviously we're doing it for the first time. And like the hard part of IB isn't IB itself, it's more the things that come along with it, like college, like becoming an adult. I'll be turning 18 soon. So I think now is the point where I'm kind of prioritizing other things except just school and, taking like a little bit a step back, I would say.
Yeah, so that's completely, transitioning to my next question that I had on my mind. It's not even planned. And it's, what I'm not looking forward to personally is, can I sleep during IA season or do I need to like pull all-nighters 24/7 and just be on the grind?
I would be lying if I say I haven't had like sleepless nights. Like at some point, yeah, we've all had like a Red Bull and stayed up, but it's like not as bad as you make it seem for sure. Like IB for me has been like completely manageable as long as you like start doing a little by little. Like you don't have to sit and write your entire IA in one night. Don't do it. Write like one paragraph a day and you'll be done like before you know it. Like obviously I'm saying it's easier than it is, but yeah, I mean staying up sometimes obviously because last second tests we all procrastinate. But yeah, you will sleep. Hopefully you do. You'll fall sick. So please do
Yeah, because
sleep.
honestly, the minute I have stepped into school, the first day of IB, the only thing I've heard is time management,
Yeah.
sleepless nights, time management, sleepless nights, and I'm like, dude, like it can't be so much, And I'm like looking at everyone do it. I'm looking at people from the 12th grade come into school where they look half sleep, half dead, half I don't even know what.
Yeah.
It's like
The dark circles are going to go crazy.
gonna go crazy.
Other than that, we talked about the night. We talked about how you don't get sleep. But what about the day? Walk us through a day. Like, not a day where you go home and doom scroll for the entire day. That ideal day, a realistic one where you manage classes, CAS, leadership, and, of course, without burning out.
Yeah.
That's the biggest threat we all faced through 10th and, of course, through IB as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. Like, I try to balance my like daily routine like as much as I can and not do like completely, work related things or like leisure related things. I try to like blend them. So obviously school, I have the strategy of like getting as much as I can done in school.
Right.
Works super well for me because I do procrastinate quite a bit. So I think like staying back or just like working in the free sessions instead of, wasting my time helps me kind of be on top of things. And then mostly after I go home, like luckily I live in a compound where like a lot of my friends live as well. So I kind of get to study with them at the library. I think great tip for IB, study with other people, helps you feel less stressed out. And then taekwondo, I usually train at night because I don't have time to train during the day anymore. So I train like an hour and a half or two like during the night, like around 9ish. So that's like what my ideal day looks like. And then homework after that. I try to sleep by 1. Doesn't always end up that way. But
One on a daily.
One on a day.
That
on
means
a
with
day.
additional assignments and delays. It's
Yeah, like
nothing.
before you're gonna say that, I was genuinely questioning what time do you sleep at night. Like one is like daily, like,
one is like a normal day. If it's a good day, maybe like 11:30, 12.
and then school in the morning.
Yeah, but I'm just in general a person who doesn't like need a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
So I can
honestly, I think
manage.
that's the smartest thing you could do. Because honestly, when I go to school and I wake up in the morning, I'm like, today is gonna be a time pass day. There are not that many classes, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'd rather just finish school. And I'm like all restless after school, and I say that I'm gonna go home and do the stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't end up doing it.
I really like going to cafes and stuff, like instead of going home.
And
I take like the weekend as more of a break. Like, because in the week you're kind of in that cycle. And if you take like the weekend to reconnect, you don't dread Monday morning as much.
Yeah.
So, using your week.
I personally don't like studying anywhere outside my room. I just throw my brother out the room, close the blinds, turn off most of the lights, pure darkness, AC, and just with music. Sometimes, depending on what I'm studying, I just lock in. And again, you mentioned taekwondo, and you also do man, like two completely different worlds.
On the other side.
So, how does that help you deal with the IB? Not from a caste perspective, more of a chaos perspective, where is it just adding to the mess of having to juggle two different things, or are you able to balance it and, each adds their own advantage?
Yeah. I mean, I started MUN like back in middle school. I mean, now I've dialed it down like quite a bit because obviously like it does take up a lot of time. But at least in IBDP 1 where, I was able to do a lot of MUN, I think it doesn't take as much time because when you're in like the 11th or 12th grade, you're usually on the EB. You're not for like being a delegate much. So you don't essentially have a lot of like at home work. It's more just like staying back in school, and doing it. And it does kind of, help you balance because to me, it doesn't really feel like work because I want to study Pol Sci. So MUN has always been something really fun for me. And then also like a lot of my friends again do MUN. So I kind of get like an excuse to spend time with them. And then taekwondo just kind of helps you unwind, get the anger out. Very cliche, but like
The anger.
it's really frustrating sometimes because there is a lot of work and deadlines and tests. So
Yeah, and I've heard, like every time I ask them, like, because I play football and I play golf, right? And my best performances have been when I have work on my head. I'm just like, I don't know if I can say this, but pissed at everything. And I just wanna get that out. And the ball flies through the air with the most power it's ever gone
you
through.
can like turn it off and like not
Yeah.
think about
Yeah.
it.
I have the same thing, but with music and my piano. So, like, after every stressful day, there'll be some part of my day where I'll be like, today was so exhausting, but I'd still sit down on that piano and I'd still play. And it's
Play.
like, yeah.
So the IB is like a crash course in time management. That's the one thing that has been echoing in every classroom, every floor, every teacher that I've spoken to before and after I joined the IB. So like, what's your system? Like, you like plan everything out beforehand, or like suppose for example, I have a day. I'm heading home from school. Is my day planned, or is it like vibes of like today I'm going to do chem, tomorrow I'll do bio, or like today I'll do math, tomorrow I'll do psych, something like that.
I want to be the organized person, but it works out some days when I'm like feeling it. But I mean, I try to like do a to-do list like whenever I can, but sometimes it's like feeling because I'll set math, but I never want to do math. So sometimes I'll just dodge and do psych eco instead. But like, yeah, some days I do have to force myself to do math. But like, honestly, it's better if you just go with your feeling. At least something gets done. Like if you do a to-do list, sometimes I feel like you get stuck.
But I feel like when you do it by yourself, which is important because then you're most likely to give your attention appropriately when you're doing that activity, so you'll do it properly.
Yeah.
But I feel at least when you have a to-do list, then suppose you swap math with bio, then at least you know that you have math left.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you do bio today, bio tomorrow, and then math just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
11:59, you're like, exams tomorrow.
You keep like an overlying to-do list. You don't keep like a day-to-day to-do list. Like in a week, if I need to do these chapters, these like I's or whatever, these assignments, you set that and then you just do it whenever you feel like. But at the end of the week, you should be done with everything.
Yeah, like I prefer that more. Like I'll do that, and then on like this on a Sunday, I'll be like I'll keep that space free for myself. So I know even if I do miss out something in a day,
can
I have space for that.
Yeah, I think even me in my schedule, I have that shuffle slot, the one that is open to whatever.
But Ruhika, let's be real. Burnout hits everyone, whether it's someone who's amazing at multitasking or it's someone like, I guess, me. But what exactly do you do when the stress piles up? Like, what are you doing differently that we're probably not doing?
IAs, gas.
This.
No,
All
whole
of
lot.
it. Okay, this, that.
Oh, what am I doing differently? I mean, I think a lot of people do this, but like personally, it's really helped me a lot. It's like I said, working with other people. When you try to kind of do it alone, it feels really overwhelming because it is a lot. And when you're with other people, you can kind of help each other. Like, because of course, some people are good at some things while others have other skills. So I like studying with my friends or like going to a cafe with them and working. And then even as a break, like I like to walk with like music. Like even taking like short breaks for yourself really helps, because if you try to go at like long ends all at once, you get burnt out.
Yeah, and I
Like a
think,
lot
but
more.
that, however, that's true, and I agree with you. I feel like sometimes your friend may not be on the same wavelength as you.
Distracting.
So they've done this chapter before. They're strong in this chapter before, and then they're dragging you down. So I think it's important to know. And sometimes you have a separate set of friends that you study with, and a separate
Yeah.
set of friends that you
Yeah.
hang out with, and that's completely important in this case.
But
Also,
yeah,
go on.
No, go on.
Like necessarily doesn't mean like studying with them. Like even being in like the same room, having your earphones in and just studying. I feel like personally, if you see people working, you're more likely to like lock in. If you're in your room, you're alone, no one's watching, you kind of slack off a little
Yeah.
bit.
Even if it may be the fake lock-in.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so this was the most important question to me that I wanted to ask you. I think I'm very excited for this question because it's the most useful thing I think me and Ansh can have in our minds. But what is one thing you do to like any study, organizational tips that you have, anything, any tricks, anything
us.
for us,
People have just joined the IB.
just on the IB that you would give us to help us out?
I mean, two things. Get a whiteboard in your room.
Yeah.
Like my doors have like that whiteboard paper thing on it. Like you would think it doesn't help. The amount I use that whiteboard, oh my god, it's been so helpful. Like especially since you all have subjects like psych and eco, like super helpful for subjects with diagrams or even just having like a list in front of you. Like you feel a lot less overwhelmed when you don't have to carry lists in your mind. You have it just like written
It's
down.
just so ironic because I bought one yesterday. It came. I bought it for multi-purpose. So I'm playing a tournament, so I need it for that. And I'm like, I'm just gonna put it up on my wall and right next to my desk. And I think you saying that it's definitely going there
Super efficient.
for sure,
So
110%.
wasting paper.
No
Yeah.
wasting paper. I
And-
use iPads. I don't like writing on paper.
And you like go to sleep looking at it and you wake up looking at it. It's right in front of you.
Yeah.
In your room.
Oh, I have like a thing in my room. So like I have my like dream school put up and like
Oh,
my dream
yeah.
IB score and like a
Vision
vision board. Yeah. It really like helps. Like sometimes it stresses me out like, oh my god, I'm not gonna be good enough.
Yeah.
But I think that stress is good sometimes.
I have this quote that says, your mind is your only limit. And every time I don't want to study, I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, totally.
Gotta do this assignment.
Yeah.
So, one thing that you do for, to get into these schools, you were the head girl. And, I asked this question to Rajveer, who was there as an earlier guest. When you take such leadership positions, do they treat you differently? Do they expect you to take more leadership, be better at things than other people are, stand out? What is the situation?
I mean, yeah, of course, like responsibilities kind of do come with their expectations. Like for me, I kind of, every time I said no to something, I would feel extra guilty. Because when you're in like a head girl position, for example, I'm still like head girl, right? So you kind of feel bad if you say no to things because you feel like you're supposed to like, prioritize everything and make sure like work always comes first. But I think that's also like a skill you kind of learn to like say no to some opportunities if they're not giving back to you as much as you're like giving to them. And like in a sense that they treat you differently, like you kind of do get a leeway sometimes as well because they do know you have a lot on your plate. So in that sense there are like positives and negatives to it, but it's like I think I would say it's important to make sure you don't kind of take advantage of that leeway and make sure you also focus on other things.
And being in this stressful position, what's one thing this position taught you about yourself? Not about how you work, how you like about your team, about people, about teachers, about yourself. Something you didn't know you were capable of, perhaps.
I would say probably like holding a room. I've always like had to like scream and yell a lot because I feel like in general, like when you're like a girl trying to hold a room of both like guys and girls, especially like younger like boys, I've noticed they don't really want to listen to like girls because it's like why. But I think like what I realized like being head girl is like the approach of yelling and screaming after a point does not work. They're just gonna hate you. So I think like trying to connect on them then a deeper level than just do your work and trying to understand why they don't want to do certain things like really helps. I think that's like a skill I've developed, like trying to not always think I'm right, because that was an issue I used to have when I was younger, is like understanding other perspectives, why they might not believe the same way you kind of do.
Being open-minded, especially in a team. Yeah, and I get that completely. It's so true. Like, people who think that they may be the best, they may be the most expertised at that activity,
Yeah.
but they may not be a leader because they don't have an open mind, because they think that what their opinion is probably the best opinion, even though that may not be the case. And that's, where I've had some of the maybe the toughest team situations where that person does not want to budge on what they have to say. And you just kind of have to go with it.
One more thing, I just remembered, like taking criticism. That's also something that kind of comes, like you said, right? Like when you're in like a position where like you're kind of, people know you or like people know what you're kind of up to, it comes with a lot of scrutiny. So kind of learning to take it with a grain of salt and like learning like, you don't have to take all the criticism that comes your way. Or even like if you're taking it, like use it to improve yourself instead of putting yourself down is something like I've learned recently.
I completely agree. Okay, so we're gonna jump back a timeline. We've come all the way to your application process, and kind of is still at this application process. However, what was the process of choosing the subjects for IB? I mean, it's past our time where we can change subjects, but for someone who's gonna come there soon, maybe in 6 months' time, and they have to go through it again. Or you know what? I'm gonna go the entire spectrum. How do you choose your subjects for 9th and 10th? How do you choose your subjects for the IB? And how did you choose your course for the uni?
I so wish I
The stage is yours.
I actually chose my subjects. It would have saved me.
A lot of time.
I kind of just picked it like not blindly, but on the basis of what like my seniors and stuff said.
Right.
But like luckily it kind of worked out pretty well. So 9th and 10th, even if you know what you're doing, like I had decided what I wanted to do like 4th grade and it hasn't changed. But even if you know, you never know, I would say. So 9th and 10th, always good to keep your options open. Have a good combination of sciences, humanities. I had like all sciences and then I had like 2-3 humanities subjects. Like that's a lot of IG subjects, but in IG, honestly, it's okay if you don't get all A stars. It's more about keeping your options open, I would say. And then, so in IB, one thing to remember when you're picking your subjects is it's a clean slate. I'd never done eco before, never done psych before, never done Spanish before. Yeah. So a lot of my subjects, I'm starting completely from scratch. And those subjects are ironically the ones I'm better at. So in IB, it's important not to be scared to pick something new because they start everything like completely from like the basics. So regardless of what you want to do, like it's okay to switch after IGCSE.
And I completely agree because like my biggest question when I also took eco, you also took eco, and even psych was, dude, I haven't done eco in 10th. I had taken straight sciences with humanities because even I'm to this day I'm still a bit clueless of what I want to do. There's a lot more clarity. But when I was in 9th, I had absolutely no idea. So therefore to keep the options open. And keeping options open doesn't mean take all sciences. There's multiple ways to do it. But biggest thing was, how am I going to do eco? And I've never done it in 10th. And then they're like, dude, we're going to teach you everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you is what the
Like-
message I got, and they have got me so far.
But also the thing with sciences, like it's always better to take a few core sciences in IG. I know like a lot of people say like, oh, sciences are not better. It's not about better. It's just that it becomes very difficult to start science from
Yeah,
scratch.
so that's what I was going to say.
can't do that.
You can do an eco new, you can do a BMU, but you cannot start a bio halfway through.
No, like I entered IB and I took business as an SL, and I have not done a commerce subject at all in my entire life. And I've given like a few of the exams. I'm like, oh, it's they're actually starting from scratch. So I switched to HL, and I'm like, I'm pretty good with this.
Yeah, same. That was my biggest stress.
Yeah.
No eco, straight to eco HL,
Yeah.
thrown in the deep
Same.
end. Struggled a bit in class at start. The terminology is being thrown around. God, Darren, what is opportunity cost like? Now, like the back of my hand, so that's great. So that's one stress
And
reliever.
honestly, IB as a whole is so much different from IG when it comes to even the classes. Like I actually, with even like teachers and stuff, have a proper discussion about what the topic is, and we don't.
You know what that is? Because it's just batch sizes are smaller. The annoying kids are gone. The ones who are just sitting there playing games on their iPad.
It also, yeah, probably. But
Seriously, I'm telling you
I
that.
just feel like it's so much better right now. I just feel like there's so much space to make mistakes, especially because we've just entered, and it's yeah.
So we talked about the 10th. We talked about the IB.
Yeah.
Now we're coming to what's most recent. What you know best right now compared to both of us is unis.
Yeah.
Where are you going? What are you doing? How are you doing it?
Game plan, go.
Okay. So I kind of knew like I wanted to do something like political science, like international relations related from like middle school. Because like at home, like I've been like exposed to that kind of conversation. My family like discusses the news and stuff often. Also, like I said, I did MUN when I was very young. My teacher kind of got me into it because I was too argumentative. So like I think MUN has helped me hone that like skill, make it like more beneficial than aggressive. So yeah, and then after that, like over the years, I've kind of just streamlined my interest a little bit, deciding what course I want to do specifically under those streams. So US, I'm going more into like the public policy kind of side because I want to, get into like education policy or like space militarization, something like that. And then UK, I'm applying more like pol sci, sociology, IR type of field, so more like humanities based. So yeah.
I think it's so lucky for someone to have like, let me say, a dream that you wanted, a career option that you want to do, and you know about it since the middle school, literally.
I would love to be that clear.
And to actually stick with it. And she's in 12th right now, and she's stuck with it. I mean, it takes guts. It
I'm
takes.
so surprised. I had a phase in between. I was like computer science engineering.
Yeah.
Then I was like, hell no.
With AI, let's.
But honestly, I believe that the thing you want to do at the youngest is the thing you should stick with. The thing that you're
I
destined.
completely agree. And
It's just
for the
something
coders out there, don't worry. You're better than AI. I got you. I can't code for the life of me, but I support you.
If the word wasn't real though, I would want to be like a food critic. Or like a
Really?
master chef.
Oh, eating as a
for a living.
Yeah, for a living.
I want to be some sort of athlete. I don't care which sport, just some sport.
Athlete, yeah.
It just seems so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but I don't.
But you need to be really passionate to stick with
And
what
determined.
and
Consistent.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, for so many people that has like. Example, I wanted to do veterinary medicine for the longest time since I was like 5 or something, and the dream went away in like 5 seconds, and I'm like, you really do have to have that motivation and that goal.
I'm telling you, I've seen movies where people talk to dogs.
Yeah.
I think you can possess that skill at some point.
Sport is
The
like
obsession is crazy.
impossible. I used to do gymnastics for like a good 13 years. And then I had like a really bad injury, and all of that like 13 years over a decade all went down the drain.
The worst thing about sports is injury.
Yeah. So unpredictable.
Seriously. Okay, so now we're done. All the serious discussions are done.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is the part that viewers are around for since the last episode, the rapid fire. Except for the school side, this is where we get personal. This is the only things Ruhika would like to share about her life that she's okay telling you.
Okay,
So
now
we're
remember-
gonna get it out of her.
Yeah. Remember, no overthinking. One word answers, and we gotta go fast. It's rapid fire for a reason.
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Okay.
Are we ready? Let's do this. Favorite IB subject?
Eco.
Favorite cast project?
Inspire us.
Written or typed notes, school-wise?
Typed.
study late night or you prefer early morning?
Late.
I got that from the previous conversation. Favorite one committee that you've chaired and favorite one committee that you've been delegated?
Favorite one I've chaired was HMAN, Women's Committee. And then favorite one I've been a part of would be UNSC ABMAN.
Okay.
Opposite end of the spectrum.
Conrad or Jeremiah?
Conrad.
Really?
Both of them are like red flags.
You know-
But like if I had to pick, yeah, Conrad.
To be honest, team not belly.
Yes.
Team not belly.
Not all of them actually. No, but all of them have such issues. They all need to see.
I have
Yeah,
no
listen.
input. I don't know anything about this.
The whole show is messed up and we need okay.
I didn't watch it. I watched it through like reels. I haven't watched the show.
What?
By the way. I watched the entire thing through reels. I haven't watched the show.
And so you have no do you,
I have so much context from just reels.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But that's what happens every single time a new episode is. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Ansh.
I agree, coffee. But favorite late night snack? Food.
Instant noodles, Shin ramen,
Oh, fair enough.
buldak ramen.
Ah, nice. Dogs or cats?
Cats. I have a cat.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs. You're both. You
Both.
Every animal in the world. Okay. Taekwondo or man?
Man.
Stay in or stay out? Like on weekends? Friday nights?
Depends, but stay out. more.
Stay out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite holiday destination?
Japan. Or like Italy.
And the last, okay, I'm not going to say that right now. But anyway, last question.
Yeah.
Go to stress buster that you did during the IB, during your examination, throughout the entire thing. Maybe we can take notes.
I don't think you can take notes from this.
Oh, okay.
Go get your nails done. Get a pedicure or something.
This is the best thing. Okay, I swear today, okay, there's this one girl in our grade and she's coming to us and she's like, Aarya, every time I'm sad, every time I'm stressed, I'll go get my nails done and I'll be fine and everything will be fine. I'm like,
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that. I think I should too.
Yeah, I think you should get your nails done. Ansh.
I think I'd rather pocket that money and spend it somewhere else. Anyway,
I think that is it for today. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think what really stood out today was how leadership and balance somehow go hand in hand, especially in the IB as it's so holistic. But, I've realized from this conversation that you cannot lead unless you figure out how to lead yourself first.
yeah, and I completely agree. And Ruhika, thanks for sharing with us your journey, whatever little bit you told us about your personal life in the rapid fire, and the majority of what you told about your education and the IB, the honesty, the chaos, the gas, the
Yes.
strategies, everything amazing. I'm pretty sure it'll help someone really out there. Maybe not, maybe will. And I think every IB student listening to this feels a little bit more understood now because they're talking to the right crowd. Not the people who want the expectations, but
Yeah.
the ones who have the expectations placed on them.
Yeah.
So, that's a wrap on today's episode of Unmuted. And we're going to let Ruhika close this one out.
This is Unmuted, where we turn the volume up on voices that matter.
I'm Ansh,
And I'm Aarya.
and this is Unmuted.